Offerings are much like planting seeds. The method in the Bible times was scattering the seeds. They didn't have the big tractors and combines for all that. They did it by hand, and they'd scatter the seed. And sometimes it would fall on good soil, sometimes bad. Sometimes it was up to the wind to decide. Offering is like that. Many years ago, after I had left an appointment, and we have a rule in our conference, a covenant among elders, that when we leave an appointment, we don't return for pastoral concerns and cares. So I had been gone for a few months, and I got a phone call at the office one day at my new appointment. And the secretary came in and told me who it was, and I said, oh, doggone, I didn't expect to hear from that person. I picked up the phone. It was a young man who was in college. And he had grown up with me. He had been through high school while I was there and went off to college. And he didn't sound quite himself, but we talked for a little bit, and the conversation kind of led nowhere. And I said, well, gosh, it sure is nice hearing from you. And he said, yeah, I just wanted to call and say thanks for everything. And I said, well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And I hung up the phone. And something inside of me said, that was weird. That's just not right. It didn't sound right. So I broke a rule. I picked up the phone and I called this young man's parents. I got his father. And I said, I just talked to your son, and I don't know, but something sounded weird about it, and maybe I ought to give him a call. And I hung up, and I didn't think anything more about it. A few years later, we were called back to that church for a homecoming. That's where they bring all the old preachers back. And there were 5 of us who had served there, and we were all there. And one of the clergy there gave everybody one of these little rocks. It's polished and everything. And he said, before you leave today, in private, I want you to give your rock to somebody here who made a difference in your life, just between you and them. And we all said, oh, that's really sweet. That's nice. It's nice and warm and fuzzy, you know. And I was standing in the chancel of the church at one point alone, just kind of looking around and thinking about the memories. And this young man that had called me walked in. And he said, here. He said, I want you to have this stone. And I said, man, thank you. I really appreciate that. And he said, that's for saving my life. And I said, when did I do that? And he said, you remember when I called you one day while I was at college? And I said, yeah. I said, what was up with that? I said, because I kind of broke a rule and called your dad about it. He said, yeah, and right after you got off the phone, Dad called me. And he said, I stopped and answered the phone. He said, I was on my way out the door to kill myself. Seeds. You never know what the seed's gonna do. Now that young man is now a middle-aged man. And it was a phone call. I didn't know I was planting a seed. I didn't know I was doing that. Seeds. That's what the offering is all about, to plant seeds. And sometimes we don't know what good we've done, but we plant anyway. And we will harvest a bountiful harvest if we plant in faith. Please join with me in our offering.